look so pumped, and you're moderating a session. How does it feel to be here?
Oh, it's always great to be back at the TOFT Awards. You know, I've been a part of TOFT from its initiation, and we started with one property, and now we have 4 properties, of which 2 are part of the TOFT membership. And it's a great platform where everybody, you know, from the industry, who thinks about conservation, who thinks about sustainability, who thinks about tomorrow of the forest, can meet and discuss ideas, you know, how can we implement these things to all the properties who are not a part of our game.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you about what role has TOFT played in your life? But I think you have already answered it. But is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, you know, there was a lot of good work that we were already doing, but we didn't have an idea that we need to talk about it. We always thought about humble beginnings. So when you talk about sustainability, which gained traction in 2010, 11, 12, my company, which is the parent company, Waxpol, started doing in the 1960s. From the extraction of Mawa oil. So when we started our project in Sundarbans in 2002, we are basically based out of an island which has no electricity, no fresh water.
Oh my God.
So even till date, we don't have we have 0 fresh water, and we are a net zero property.
Wow.
So we're not dependent on the groundwater, we're not dependent on the the river water. We're only dependent on rainwater harvesting, and we've been purifying that water for the last 2 decades. And that's the way the property's been running.
Yeah.
So today when people are coming telling us that, Akanksha, do we need to be sustainable, you know, should we print paper, should we talk about, you know, conserving fuel, all these, I'm like, these are smaller things. You need to look at the bigger impact that has on the local community and the environment that you're working in.
Yeah. So what do you mean by the bigger impact?
So the bigger impact, what it means in the area that you're working, the location that you're working in, how does it impact the local people, you know? So today in Waxpol Hotels, 95% of the locals are a part of our workforce at the resorts.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
And the majority of our office staff in the cities are all women. So we do employ women in the village area, but some of them are really orthodox. So we are trying to change the game by talking to the locals, telling them, okay, we'll give you better hours. You work from morning to before sundown.
Yeah.
You know.
So customizing the whole thing for them.
100%.
Okay.
And then the biggest change that we saw in Sundarbans, for example, was before we had entered, it was all bandits, poachers. All the widows were asked to leave the villages and move to create their own village.
Really?
It was known as Vidhva Pada. So after we came in, we taught them how to do katha, become self-sustaining. We gave them the materials, we taught them the skill. Today, that village is known as Adibasi Pada. Men from the village want to get married to these women who are earning better, and their children are going to school.
Wow.
And you know, that's the game I'm talking about. And nobody knew about tourism, you know. We were aliens when we went into that space. They were like, "Kaun aaya? What are they trying to disrupt?" So like, for example, we were not able to introduce massages in Sundarbans because they were like, "Oh, this is not it's a physical activity, it's not accepted culturally." We were like, fine, we won't do that. But we started focusing on activities which involve the local community. For example, like the dinghy boat ride, where we actually hire a local fisherman and their own boat. So he goes fishing in the morning, he comes back in the evening, and he takes you for a boat ride. Then we have a ball singer, who's a local village ball singer, who comes on board the boat and he sings for you. So you know, it's about going local, going to the people's houses and understanding how their lives work. It's not about having a structured system that, okay, we're going to go to this village, we're going to go to this village, we're going to go to this house. No, everybody has to have an equal opportunity, and that's what we believe in.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's your vision?
Vision.
That's always my favorite question. I want to know what the future.
So
what do you want to achieve?
Vision. I want to. For me, my vision is I want all the properties to somehow try and become ESG compliant. Okay, with economic, social governance. You know, the Paris Convention launched it in 2014. People still don't understand it. There's a lot of greenwashing. I would love all the properties to come together, get the best practices, understand from each other, stop the greenwashing, and become a net zero compliant destination. And yeah, especially stop doing weddings in national parks. I'm very sorry, guys. Don't believe in that. National parks is for animals, not for you to become an animal in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very important one.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can we even think of, do that? Like,
You know, the challenge which I
so
feel
noisy and chaotic.
it's not only noisy and chaotic, it's also about the amount of waste that you're creating.
Yes.
You know, the food waste, you are playing music, you are giving an occupancy of 4 to 5 people in a room, you're using a groundwater resources which are already depleting, correct.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference. So you really need to think about this. And plus, when you're playing this music, you know, our ears are sensitive, the animals' ears are more sensitive.
Yeah.
So we need to be conscious about that. शादी करो शहर में करो, शहर के थोड़े बाहर कर लो, जंगल में क्यों जाना है, सिर्फ टाइगर ही देखने क्यों जाना है, बंदर को भी देखो, पेड़ को भी देखो, सब कुछ देखो.
That brings me to my next question. How are you using tourism as a conservation tool?
Very good one. So what we do is, you know, it was a passion project that we started in Sundarbans with. It became a conservation tool because we were able to change bandits and robbers and people who were going into the national park to fish and catch crabs illegally, and we've converted them into tourism partners. I think that's our biggest thing.
That's huge.
So
I would like to know more about it later.
Of course, of course. So that's our one step. Second, about giving alternate employment. From the time we've come into whichever destination that we're working in, for example, Sundarbans, Dwas, Kana, all the locals who were involved in poaching have stopped doing that because they have a fixed livelihood.
Income,
yeah. And the children are going to school. The next generation is getting educated. And we have also started an insurance plan. So, for example, if your family is there, if you die of an ailment, you want to get an operation done. You know, safety in every single manner. We're trying to look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I love that. I want to talk about the bandits thing and
Of course, I'll tell you about it. I'll actually make you meet a few of them when they come to the property. Yeah, they're still working with us. So the best poacher of Sundarbans, Niranjan Raptan, we taught him how to become a guide. And now Lonely Planet, all the books write about him. He's of course old now, he's 70 now.
Yeah.
So we made him into an insurance agent.
Yeah.
And now he's giving insurance to all the people who go into the forest to collect honey or if they're involved in fish, catching fish.
Wow.
So in case something happens, they do have a safe livelihood.
Yes.
Yeah.
My God, Akanksha, what amazing work you're doing. Such a
From grandfather to father to me.
well, thank you so much. What a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. Sorry, yeah,